Guys, it's your friend Kelly Dell here with Off the Beaded Path beadstore.com. In my previous video, I showed you how to do basic Viking knit. So if you did not see that video, if you'll look right below me in the video description box, you're going to see a direct link to that video so that you can go and learn the technique. For those of you who did watch the video, I hope you've been practicing because today I'm going to show you some really easy ways to finish off the ends of your pieces to make something totally new. One of the ways I'm going to show you is how to use a glue-on end so that you can just use your E6000 glue to glue on end caps. I'm going to show you how to attach wire or a beading wire inside of your tube so that you can make something whatever you want. And I'm also going to show you how to use end caps. If you do not want to put anything inside of your wire, I'm going to show you how to finish off with end caps and some of your 20 gauge wire. So let's go ahead and look at some of the ways we can finish off our projects. So the first end I want to teach you how to put on is really, really easy. It is a glue end. So to use it, you're going to need your E6000 glue. You're going to need 2 glue end caps or end pieces, and you're going to need your Viking knit. Now, the thing is, I can't really be able to sit here and tell you, oh, you're going to need this size end or this diameter, because of the fact it's going to depend on the gauge wire that you used and the hole that you pulled it through in your draw plate. So this one, I believe I stopped. Yeah, this one was the quarter mark there. You see, that's the hole I pulled that through. And you can kind of take your cap and put it right around it to kind of know that, yeah, that is going to be the size cap that I need. So this one here is an 8 by 12 millimeters. So it's an 8 millimeter inside diameter. And it fits my piece of Viking knit perfect. Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to take my cutters first and foremost. And I'm going to come to the part of the piece that I did not like. This was the piece that I used to pull through after I had cut it off the permanent piece that we had made. So I'm going to kind of come down below where I want this to be finished. So I'm going to come about right here, 1/4 inch, and I'm going to just come across and I'm going to start cutting the wires, and I'm just going to come straight across. And this is why you need a really, really good pair of cutters for this part. Got one little wire there. And so then you're going to want to take another pair of pliers and pull out any pieces that you have that did not come out. And if you have any pieces like this one that's just an open piece, an open end piece, I'm just going to kind of roll that down so that way I don't have to worry about it getting caught on anything. So I'm going to take that, and when I slide it in, again, it's going to fit perfectly into that cap. So I'm going to go ahead. Brand new thing of E6000. There we go. Whoop. That is a hot mess. Let me get that off. All right, here we go. So I'm going to fill my cap up about 1/4 of the way. Like once it kind of falls down in there, that's going to be about 1/4 of the way full of the glue. So I'm going to take that now. And when I slide the Viking knit in, I'm going to twist the cap around so that it helps to get that glue. And I'll pull it out so you can see it. That glue is evenly spaced in there. So I'm going to slide this back in here, and then I will need to then do the other side. So I have already tested the length of this and know that I still need about 1/2 inch for my clasp. So this is going to be the perfect size that I need for my bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to take the other cap And again, I'm going to put the glue into the cap and then slide the cap here onto the end so that I have both of these ends attached. Now, once you have both ends glued on, then you can use a jump ring or whatever you want to attach your clasp. So that is how we do it with a glue-on end. All right, so what do you do if you don't necessarily want to use a glue-in cap or, something to that effect? Then you have a couple of different options, and there's some great options out there in YouTube land. There are a lot of great, wonderful wire workers who teach you how to make like spiral caps and do all of that kind of stuff. I told you in the first video, I am not a wire worker, so that is really not something I'm interested in doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make more of a cuff style bracelet with my Viking knit, and I have some 16 gauge wire. And so the first thing I'm going to do is on each end, because this is a hollow tube, so to kind of open up each end of my piece, I'm just going to use that awl that I had earlier, and I'm just going to kind of go through and open up some of the end here on each end of my piece, so that way it's a little bit easier for me to get the wire in and out. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to leave it still spooled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start on one end and I'm going to start running the wire through. Now, as I run the wire through, I'm going to kind of twist the wire. That helps it just to go on a little bit easier. There we go. I'm just doing a gentle twist as I work down. And our goal, our hope, is to get this all the way through the tube. That is our hope and our goal. Aha! We have victory. Okay, I'm going to pull this through and make sure that I leave myself couple inches of wire here to work with, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire so that now I have wire running throughout my piece. Now, another thing that you can do if you want to make this into a more flexible piece, you can actually take beading wire. And what I would do is I would take a piece of harder, thicker wire and run it through first. And then I might take my beading wire and tape a little piece here to the end and pull it through the tube so it's easier to get that beading wire through there. So that is an option as well. So now I'm going to show you how we are going to finish off the ends of our piece. Okay, so I decided to go on a totally different direction. I found this amazing pendant that my friend Heather from Illuminations made. And so I said, hey, I've not used it yet. Let's use it. So I've decided to make this the front of my necklace. So when I put the wire through, I'm still going to leave this as a nice, sturdy, stiff piece. And I'm going to use caps that actually have the hole there in the top of the cap. And again, you want to find a cap that is going to go over the end so it closes up the beadwork. But you also want it to especially if you're going to make it into a necklace, we want something that is going to fit it really close, just like the glue-in cap here. And you could totally do this with the glue-in caps as well, the same thing. But I put my cap on there, and what I'm going to do is, because this is 16 gauge wire, it is a very, very, very tough, stiff wire. I don't have to worry necessarily about making it into, I'm going to fix this here. I don't necessarily have to worry about doing a wrapped loop. If you want to, you can, but it's already so stiff, I don't have to worry so much about making that into a wrapped loop. So I'm going to come down a little bit, leave myself enough to make a loop. And I'm going to make a completely closed loop there for my necklace. Now I'm going to take and do this to the other side, and then I'm going to use a jump ring to attach chain to finish out the necklace. So you can see there how easy that's going to be to make this center front into the necklace. So again, now on the other side, I'm just going to put the cap on here. And the great thing about this little cap is that you can actually open it up a little bit and kind of put it down and close it back over like that. And then again, I'm going to make sure that there's no wire showing here. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did on that other side. I'm going to bend that wire. I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to make that loop. So that now I have a loop on each end. And like I said, I'm going to use a jump ring to attach chain on each end so that I will have a necklace. So let me show you the finished result here in just a minute. So as you can see, I've added chain to each end of the piece so that way I can have a completed necklace. It's just one quick and easy way to finish off your Viking knit to make a necklace. So what if you don't want to put anything inside of your tube, but you want to finish out the ends with your caps? So this one to me is kind of the one that takes the longest to get together and figure out so that you don't totally mess it up. So what we want to do, we're going to be using a pair of round nose pliers. You can also use a beading awl. This will help you kind of get it together. But basically, what we want to try to do, and no matter if we have to turn some loops to get them to what we need, but we need to try and get all of our loops together. When I mean together, we want them all together and kind of in a line would be the best way. And I see I've got a little piece of wire here. So I'm just going to tuck that in. Here we go. But we really need to get all of our wires, all of our loops together. So 1, 2. And this is the part, like I said, you have to be patient with to get them in order and to all get them together. This is why the awl comes in super handy. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to find any wires because I had to cut some length off on this piece. So I'm going to find any wires here that I will need to tuck in. Okay. Yep. I might be able, yep, pull that one out. Okay. So now, whoop, see, look right there. I'm missing a loop, so I got to pull him in. There we go. All right, so I have all my wires here, all my loops together, and I'm going to use my round nose plier just to get them in there and together. And you might even want to take and press them in together a little bit like this. And then we're going to need a little piece of our 20 gauge wire. So I'm going to take a piece of my 20 gauge wire and I'm going to come down about 2.5 inches. And I'm going to make or start a wrapped loop. And if you're not sure how to do that, we'll put a link in the video description box right below this video that has a great video on how to do a wrapped loop. So what I want to do, once I have that, I'm going to go through all of those loops that we gathered there at the top so that my loop is there. Now, if this loop ends up being too big, you can slide them out and you can rework your loop and make your loop a little smaller. And then let's try it again. Because you don't want this loop to be a massive loop because it's going to be inside of your cap. There we go. So that looks like a pretty good size loop there for my piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish out my loop of the wrap for my wrapped loop. So once you get your wrap made, you are ready to put on your bead cap. Now you'll notice here that I've only done about 1 or 1.5 wraps around the top because you don't want to take up a whole bunch of room in your cap that you've got. So you can see this cap right here. It actually fits it almost perfectly, but it's a little bit bigger than what I want, but we're going to go ahead and go on with this one for the time being. So what we want to do now is you can add beads here. If you want to add some beads, you can do pretty much whatever you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and attach my clasp. So I'm going to go ahead right above that cap and I'm going to start a wrapped loop. Now it's completely up to you how you want to finish out the loop. If you want to, finish the loop and attach your clasp afterwards, or if you want to go ahead and wrap it on here, which I am going to do. And then once you finish that, then you can wrap and be finished with your project. And I'm going to wrap until I meet my cap so that everything is nice and tight up against each other. There we go. And trim it. We're going to see if we have any little pieces sticking out. If we do, tuck it. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other end so that you have your completed piece. So this is if you did not want to put something in your core and you just wanted to finish off the ends. So guys, I hope you enjoyed learning how to finish off some of the ends of your jewelry. I cannot wait to see what you make with your Viking knit pieces. If you're on social media, please go to our Facebook page and show us your pictures so that we can all see your beautiful Viking knit. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and come back next time where we are going to do double Viking knit and build on the skills that we have learned this week. So you guys have a wonderful week and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.